Hey everyone! Starting off today's Abbott and Costello double feature is their classic 1948 comedy, Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. Now, baggage clerks Chick Young, Bud Abbott, and Wilbur Gray, Lou Costello, get a mysterious call from London, asking them not to deliver a pair of crates to the McDougal House of Horrors until the caller arrives. However, no sooner is the call ended than Mr. McDougal himself, as played by Frank Ferguson, comes and demands that the crates be delivered. Now, when Chick and Wilbur take the crates to the wax museum, Wilbur is spooked, especially when he learns the crates contain the coffin and body of Count Dracula and the body of the Frankenstein monster. He's frightened even more when, while Chick is elsewhere, he sees that Dracula, Bela Lugosi, and the monster, Glenn Strange, are alive, or undead, however you want to put it. Now, they escape before anybody else returns, and so Mr. McDougal has the two clerks arrested. Meanwhile, Dracula gets the monster to a castle where Wilbur's girlfriend, Sandra Mornay, Lenore Aubert, is working. Now there, we learn that her reason for going out with Wilbur is because she believes they can replace the monster's criminal brain with Wilbur's to make the monster easier to control. Now, Chick and Wilbur are released from jail on bail, and then they meet the mysterious caller from London, who turns out to be Lawrence Talbot, Lon Chaney Jr. Of course, Chick is really annoyed with Lawrence since he seems to be backing up Wilbur's claims about Dracula and the monster. And even worse, he claims to be a werewolf. Now, Wilbur finds himself in even more trouble as insurance investigator Jane Randolph, is the one who bailed them out of jail and is now flirting with Wilbur in an attempt to find McDougal's missing displays. She convinces Wilbur to take her to a costume ball, which is a problem as he had already promised to take Sandra there. However, when Chick and Wilbur bring Joan along to the castle to pick up Sandra learns that Joan is an insurance investigator and wants to pull out of the whole thing. Of course, Dracula, posing as Dr. Lejos, refuses to let her out of the idea, and so he bites her in the neck to control her. At the costume ball, Dracula and Sandra kidnap Wilbur and Joan. Now, in the process, Chick finally sees the truth. But can he and Lawrence get to the castle in time to save Wilbur? Now, in production under the working title The Brain of Frankenstein, the film we now know as Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein brought together both of Universal Studios' biggest franchises of the time. Glenn Strange and Lon Chaney Jr. reprised their roles as the Frankenstein monster and the Wolfman, respectively. And Lon Chaney Jr. even quickly stepped in as the monster when Glenn Strange got injured. They were joined by Bela Lugosi, who returned to the role of Dracula for the first time on screen since the original 1931 Dracula, although he had played a few other vampires in between. However, not everybody was exactly willing to do this movie. Lou apparently hated the script, and it took some convincing to get him to do the movie, which included hiring Charles Barton for the director. And Boris Karloff, who originally played the Frankenstein monster, didn't want to do it, believing that the whole idea just plain wouldn't work. He did supposedly help with publicity, though, and after seeing its success, he later joined Bud and Lou for Abbott and Costello Meet the Killer and Abbott and Costello Meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Personally, I think this movie has certainly earned its reputation. It's one of the few classic films I've been watching since I was a kid, and the fact that I haven't grown tired of it yet is certainly a point in the movie's favor. Now, I love the way that Abbott and Costello incorporate their moving candle routine into the movie. It's just so darn much fun. Certainly the cast makes things work. It's fun seeing all the monsters together, as well as seeing how much things have changed since they first started. I mean, for the 1931 Dracula, which is one of the few horror films I have seen, I don't recall them showing Dracula changing into a bat, or vice versa, on screen. But here, through the use of animated transitions, we actually see it happen. Now, the movie mixes the horror and the comedy well, and you really can't ask for better. Of course, with one final cameo provided by Vincent Price, or rather his voice, we see the possibilities of doing further comedy and horror mashups with Bud and Lou. Oh, seriously, this is a fun movie, and if you haven't seen it yet, give it a try. And if you have, well, sit down and watch it again. You know it's good. Now, this movie is obviously available on Blu-ray, either individually or as part of several of the Universal Monster sets from Universal Studios, or as part of the 28 film The Complete Abbott and Costello Universal Pictures Collection from Shout Factory, and is 1 hour and 23 minutes in length. Well, that should be all I have to say on this one, everybody, so thanks for listening, and I hope you'll keep tuning in for more.